All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of Ms. and Ryan That's Live podcast. So you can take a moment to laugh about this for a moment. I think the name is quite apt. And the reason for us to start this is because Ryan and I, we have some amazing conversations over the phone. And we thought we could potentially turn this into a podcast, and I'm pretty sure you guys will really, really enjoy it. So, without further ado, Ryan, how you doing, my man?
What can I say, bro? That's life. It doesn't matter how I'm going, bro. Doesn't matter. You know what? Bottom line is, at the end of the day, that's just life, bro. Um,
That's just life, bro.
but on this Saturday Eve, you know, quite gloomy Saturday evening where I'm from, so it's been cozy. Been enjoying
mm,
it, having a nice hot beverage here, talking to our
mm.
next hot thing across the mic from me. And yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
just happy to be here, episode one, because believe it or not, this podcast has been 1 year in the making, bro. It's
Yeah,
actually since last year, May or April, we were talking about doing a podcast. So
yeah. And we're finally here, and
yeah,
let's enjoy it. It's gloomy, you said over there. It is quite gloomy here in Sydney. Yeah, a bit strange, a bit overcast, but it is what it is, man. That's life. That's life.
that's
That's life.
life. That's
That's life.
geography. Then
That's
action. Not is
geography.
yeah.
That's geography.
Yeah. Maybe that should be the name of the podcast, bro.
Should maybe for all the people out there who's thinking about starting a new podcast, that's geography. That's something to think about. Ryan, as I said, with this podcast and for the listeners as well, the one of the reasons we created this is it's not going to have a structure. We're going to talk about anything and everything that comes into our mind. Obviously, this is in the other side of the coins channel, so predominantly Chelsea related. We will have the same style, that's live podcast, in the second channel where we talk about everything else besides Chelsea. Today's one, obviously, in this channel, so people can best believe there'll be a lot of Chelsea stuff. First thing I sort of want to discuss with you is I was just watching, as I said, offline. The game is only got about 10 minutes to go. I was watching Brazil versus Morocco, and quite a nice game, man. Really, really nice game. Really like Morocco, man. I'm in love with Morocco, honestly. Starting to think I might take up after Germany and obviously Australia as well. I might start following Morocco, man. Really, really enjoyed. Obviously, Hakim Ziyech there. But the reason I was watching Morocco versus Brazil, Ryan, predominantly for Andrey Santos. Um, I don't know if you were catching the match. I don't think you were, Ryan, were you?
Definitely not. Unfortunately, but um, tell me about it, bro.
I still think you'll have a lot of input in it. I mean, not really from the match wise, but I think your opinion on the matter, I think it will be quite interesting to hear. And to everyone that's listening as well, do chip in. So I was keen to watch Andre Santos, and I didn't have high expectation. He's a kid, right? He's a kid. I think he's what, 18, 19
Mm-hmm.
max, something like that. He partnered with Casemiro in the middle, but he was a lot more advanced in double pivot. Yeah, it felt like he played about 65 minutes, then he got subbed off. He showed a lot of energy, showed a lot of enthusiasm for a young kid, right? Which is fantastic. But, came up against some men, these Moroccan players, especially Soufiane Amrabat, Ryan, who I was so, so impressed with. I even tweeted out just after halftime
Get him at
saying,
the Chelsea.
hey, do you know what? Look, there's a lot of DMs that's getting floated around, and this is a particular position I think in the summer window we need to address. There is no excuse because there is that many high quality defensive midfielders around. Just take a pick. Honestly, there's Rice, there's Ugarte, there's Amrabat, there's Romeo Lavia. There's plenty. There's plenty. There should be no reason. But in that match, I didn't see Andrey Santos too much. I was in awe for Sufi and Amrabat. But I don't want to smash this particular player. But what that game sort of gave me an indication is we have to relax, man. We do. And this is a message for me as well. I thought Andrey Santos could potentially be part of Chelsea first team straight away. I think we're underestimating, man. We're underestimating the men, the real men in the Premier League, and in Morocco as well. Like there were times he did look like a kid. As I said, enough enthusiasm and energy and whatnot. But yeah, I want to ask you, man, Andrey Santos, what were your initial feeling when you heard that we got Andrey Santos? And obviously he had a really good Brazil under-20s championship. Not Brazil under-20s, South American under-20s championship, and obviously Brazil won. What were your overall feeling? Did you ever think, now this guy immediately needs to be in the Chelsea setup?
I think that I was open to giving him a chance just to see what he's made of. Obviously, he didn't just have a good tournament. He had a great tournament. I believe he was captain, right? Too.
Yes, he was. Top scorer as well.
Right. So, and especially in that midfield department at that time, Kovacic was injured. Kante wasn't looking to come back anytime soon. At a point in time, how we were playing Gallagher and Loftus-Cheek and Mount in a trio together. So, that midfield, bro,
Amazing,
we've come through some dark times, bro. Right? And we're here. But you know what? That's life.
That's life, bro. That's life.
So at that time, I was willing to give him a chance. However, I wasn't willing to give him a chance because I think that we needed the help in that area. As of right now, with Kovacic and Kante back in, I don't necessarily think we right now need the help in that area, especially with a Roman deep central midfielder like him. Probably we need another style of midfielder. But it goes on to another topic, not only about him, but about players like him. Kind of like Madueke. A lot of people were posting statistics and stuff from his match earlier today, but you need to remember that a men's level and under 21, is it 20 level?
Under 21, yeah.
Yeah, under 21 level is two different levels. So whilst Madueke has done really well there, you have to remember Callum Hudson-Odoi was blowing up under 21 too.
He was.
Right? And
he was.
it didn't quite translate to the men's level.
No.
So even with Modric too, I know he did well against Real Madrid in that Champions League tie, etc. But even the level from that league to the Premier League is just two different levels. And I think at some point you need to have a bit of patience with them. I already seen people like putting these, well, not really too much Santos, but Madueke and Modric into the starting lineups for next season. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like fans get quite carried away. I mean, a lot of people would say we don't need Felix because we have Madueke and Modric. I was like, what about needing all of them? What about competing for all titles? I mean, what about having all of them? I mean, that's how I feel. We need to have quality in all positions, not just high quality in our 11 and then a big drop after our 11. I don't think that is sustainable if you want to win titles. So that's just my opinion.
It's such a good point, Ryan, and I don't think we understand this at a deeper level. Us being fans, we just get excited. Obviously, as you said today, the whole Noni Madueke, stats are flying around, and everyone's like asking for this particular player to start immediately. Look, even I was a little bit sort of in the bandwagon thinking, well, at least get some minutes off the bench. But we do need to understand, as you said, the levels. Like Noni Madueke, I'm pretty sure you know this, right, Ryan? He didn't get to play that often at PSV. He had injury concerns, and he was
especially
only
last season.
Especially last season.
He just had like less than Fofana.
He
How
had
much
like
Fofana played?
4 or 5 matches he played. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't play enough. And at a league, let's no disrespect, but a lot of levels below the Premier League, right?
really.
And then he comes into the Premier League. It's quick, it's intense. A lot of people bash Graham Potter. That what's going on? Obviously there's a lot of accounts in social media, large accounts as well with a lot of following, starting to bash Graham Potter for this. They are, it's a bit of a joke that you're not using Noni Madueke, you're not using Mudryk. But same with Mudryk, as you said, the Ukrainian league and the Premier League, two different beasts, man, two different total beasts. And on top of that, Mudryk hasn't played enough this season. No, preseason or anything like that.
The Miz, I would agree that they could play
Yeah.
more. I mean, maybe
Yes.
they obviously not start, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's plenty instances in the game that where you could introduce a Modric, you could introduce Samarueki, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I can
Mm.
understand why people are calling on Potter on that. But
Yeah.
to put them in starting 11s and say going to build a team around them now, it's a difficult ask, because these are talents for the future. You know what I mean? These are
And
really talents
Ryan,
for the future.
wasn't it not that long ago? Our own fans were bashing Mudryk when he started, especially the Dortmund game, Ryan, when we did the watch along. His first touches, the way he was sort of
Yeah,
dribbling was so Timo Werner-esque, like running away from the
yeah,
goals. And people were bashing him. And Madueke as well, a lot of people were like, oh, when he did at times come off the bench, wasn't completely polished. We need to calm down. We as a fan base truly need to calm down. And yeah, great that they're doing well. Like Noni Madueke scored some goals under 21s. Under 21s and the men's league, two different situations. This is going back to the whole Andrey Santos thing as well. Watching him play against Morocco, and I know a lot of people say, Miz, that's just a one-off game. But man, it's a one-off game, but it gives me a barometer as to how men's football, like once you play men's football, when you come up against players like Sufyan Amrabat, when you come up against players like Onahi, when you come up against players like all the other ones that they have, it's a different level, man. And we need to calm ourselves down.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I agree with you on that one, bro.
I guess moving forward, what is the plan, I suppose? What is the plan for these sort of players? In your opinion, how would you integrate them in, and what is the realistic sort of scenario? Because at a stage I was sort of thinking Andrey Santos, yeah, maybe he can take one of the midfield spot next season, and maybe we don't need to get two midfielders. We're looking into Romeo Lavia. Maybe we don't need another one. We just give Romeo Lavia a spot. Andrey Santos can get another spot, and we move on to the next season. Similarly, with the attack, we don't need more people coming in. We've got Noni Madueke. Hopefully we'll sign Joao Felix on a permanent. We've got Modric, Sterling. Are you comfortable thinking about it in that manner, or you're sort of thinking, I mean, if you want to move like an elite club, you do need to have strong squad, strong depth.
Well, I would say that nothing about you talk about easing in players at Chelsea. Listen, nothing about Chelsea's situation right now could go with the adjective of ease. I know
Mm.
because right now there's nothing ease to be in 10th position in Premier League when you're Chelsea. There's nothing ease when you're in a quarterfinal of a Champions League. So it has nothing like easing in Modric now. You know what I mean? Because when he's
Yeah,
thrown in there, he's thrown into the fire, the shark tank. Why? Because we are in a dire situation. There's no ease about it.
yeah,
It's not like you're playing for Man City. and they are 3-0 up every game, and then you put in a young player like Mudryk, and he's at ease. He tries to get into the flow. Because listen, we don't have time for substitutions. This substitution is not about you. This substitution is about us. So right now we don't have time to think about you and how you going to ease your way in. We only have this amount of substitutions, and we need to win. We need to move on from 10th place. We need to try to win the Champions League. So when you come in, it's not about you easing your way in and picking flowers and smelling it. It's about you on dirt, blood, sweat, and tears, trying to
Gotta
get these
have an
3
impact.
points.
You have to have an impact.
Have to help us win. And the thing is, sometimes it's not about you ease. It's about the person who comes out and you give him a high five, you come and try to do better than him. That is the level Chelsea is at. It had nothing about ease. No kiss on your
So
cheek
true.
and pat on your back and hug and put your lunch kit on and have your, you know what I mean? No, and tie the shoelace and send them off to the school bus. No, that's not Chelsea, right? Right now, at least, if we were title winning contenders, we win and we have the personnel in each position that you could ease them in. But that's our next conversation. You could ease in like how Foden was eased into Man City, right?
It's
At Chelsea now, there's nothing like that. But I would say that I do believe you can't put Santos and Mudryk into the same category, right? I mean, one is $100 million player who is playing adult football, who is playing European football, who is playing some of the big clubs in the world in European competition. So I would say Mudryk is ready to have an impact. No. From minute one, no. But he's ready to have one.
Once again, it's such a interesting point that you brought up. There is no easing in at Chelsea. There really isn't. Like as you said, it's not Man City where every game you're in a good position. You can just bring in some players with low amount of pressure and they can sort of get eased in. Here we don't win games that easily. We need you to have impact immediately. Now, but I want to ask you now, just to take this to the next level of conversation. You can easily break some of these players, Ryan. This pressure cooker situation that they find themselves into at such a young age. I mean, Ryan, God knows what I was doing when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. Like, I would not be able to cope in this level of pressure, thrown into the deep end.
You're going to Arsenal games, bro. That's what you're doing,
not this
bro.
Again, bro. Not this again, bro. People are not gonna think I'm an arsehole fan.
Bro's getting cooked.
Bro's
on
getting
his own
cooked in his own
podcast.
podcast.
That's life, bro. That's life.
That's
podcast.
life, bro. That's life. That's life podcast. It's what's gonna happen in this podcast. No one's safe. This is where sometimes maybe you could perhaps sympathize with Graham Potter, taking players out of the limelight. Did the same thing with Kukurea. Did, I think, similar things with Koulibaly. I don't know. Maybe he's doing the same thing with Mason Mount now. Who knows? It is a tough job because, I saw some snippets of Mudryk in the interview he had in the last 12, 24 hours. And he was saying that his parents are still in Ukraine and he calls them every day just to see how things are with all the war and everything that's going on over there. The young kids, fragile mind, a lot of stuff that's happening in life, man. And, you have to find a good balance, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, or else you could really destroy their confidence. And our fan base, as I said, they're ruthless, Ryan. There's no easing in. You come in and you gotta show impact. And if you don't, bro, we are gonna kill you.
And figuratively, yeah. And but I do think, I would give Graham Potter some applause here because I do think he's quite a good man manager. I do think he would realize that is the case for some of these younger players, and he wouldn't leave them that vulnerable, into that's why sometimes we see some of them even getting left out the bench, what I mean? Because we in such a situation now that, players receiving death threats from people, there's cursing out at
Yeah.
stadiums, there's
Yeah.
booze, there's this and that. Sometimes you might have to throw in somebody who played Premier League for about 3 seasons already in Conor Gallagher. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You might have to turn to that type of player because at the end of the day, to throw in these kids here into that is tough. But at the end of the day, at Chelsea, this is the situation you walk into right now. But I wouldn't say this is a Chelsea thing. This situation here is a situation that Chelsea is not used to, is an outlier. There isn't this kind of unrest within fans and everything like this. Otherwise, when we're in a top four race, when we're in third place, when we're still in UCL, this and that. This is a
Yeah.
special season, and I
Yeah.
think things would get better. Fingers crossed. But I would say though we need to take it case by case though. We really need to take it case by case. I think that, for example, Modric has shown the quality from beforehand that he's ready to make an impact. But we need to remember he didn't have a proper preseason coming into Chelsea. And then he's still adapting to a new league. Put those two things in together with pressure and personal life, it's tough. Madueke, you can say he's the opposite. He didn't have much games coming into Chelsea, but when he played, he looked really good. He looked like a
Looking
Premier League
decent.
player.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
looked like a Premier League player. I can't name you one Madueke mistake he made or one bad thing he did or awful. So he looks like he's ready. It's just that in that right hand position, now it is tough because you just can't chop change, chop change, chop change. You see that Potter is going with experience. He's going with Raheem Sterling. Now Pulisic is back in the right hand side. So he's going with experience. Why? Because it's a dire situation. So case by case, first you could see Modric is kind of, needing to find his foot. Now you see Madueke has found his foot a little bit, but the situation is so tense, toxic, fiery that Potter is going in with more of his experienced people like Sterling and Pulisic instead on the right hand side. Now with Santos, well, Santos is a case where he's 18 years old, bro. So he's a kid. He's literally a kid,
Literally a
unlike the
kid.
other two
Yeah.
players. Because both are in the 20s, right? Madueke and Madueke is
Yeah.
19
Madueke is not.
or
Yeah.
20.
I think he's not. Let me have a quick look at the
I know
age.
Modric is 22, so Modric is quite, you know, Modric isn't young.
Oh, Madueke is 21.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see both in the 20s. So
Yeah.
these, they're different cases from Santos. Santos is somebody who might need a Premier League loan, a good loan. Our system works because our system is there because it works, right? So yeah. Seems like how Real Madrid would probably do with that youngster they bought from Brazil. They
Yeah.
would
Endrick.
probably ease him
Yeah.
in, send him on loan, things like that.
No, you're right. You're right. We need to stay patient. We have to stay patient with some of these players. We cannot just bash them and potentially make life very difficult for them at Chelsea Football Club and get them kicked out. We know there's talent there. There is talent there. We just need to stay patient. But meanwhile, we can't be too patient in terms of Chelsea's progress. Let's talk about the next thing that I want to talk to you about, which is
Music.
music. This
Good
week, Ryan.
transition.
It's been a chaotic one. A lot of people obviously reminiscing the moments we've had with Thomas Tuchel
We
and
got Super Tommy Tuchel.
and
He knows.
he's now Bayern Munich manager. And as I told the viewers on this channel that I will do a video on the second channel outlining some of the quotes that he said in the press conference. Just straight away, Ryan, he just goes, "There is no time, and we have to win all the trophies available this season." Just oozing in confidence, oozing in charisma.
He has an aura.
He does, bro. It's not even a joke, and that meme that
But
goes
did he
around.
say we're gonna win the bleeping Champions League? Well, he's not quite Graham Stephen Potter. Then he's not quite Graham Stephen Potter, right?
He said we need to be winning all 3 titles. He knows the strength of the team. So I just want to. I know it when we were talking about this live when this news came on, and
I was depressed, and you was kind of buzzed for some weird reason. Then you started to get like hungover, and you realized what happened.
And then I started getting started sinking in. You were depressed when you first saw this. I mean, right? Look, in social media, there's few people that saying it's just Graham Potter is just catching strays. He's not even involved in the news, and he's getting hammered for every little bits and pieces, whatever is happening around the world. He's getting ripped apart, which honestly, I don't think it's fair. But Ryan, can you sympathize with some of the fans as to why they feel frustrated, why they feel that their Chelsea is, we're 10th and we seem to be quite okay with everything, and we have a lot of excuses for everything. And then you see some clubs, elite clubs like Bayern Munich, they also broke the world record fee to get Nagelsmann in, until we then broke the world record fee to get in Potter for a 5-year contract for quite a handsome amount of money for Bayern Munich. I think it's approximately about 6 or 7 million euros for Nagelsmann per year. And they broke that. They broke that. Yet we seem to be so hesitant to do this, and we hope and pray that Graham Potter is him. Like, Ryan, tell me the both sides of the coin here. Can you sympathize? Can you at the same time understand?
Bro's getting political here, bro. Talking about pronouns, saying he's questioning if he's him or not, bro.
Is he him or not?
I didn't know this is Ryan and MIZ Politics podcast, bro. I understand. Listen, the way I think about it, the standard of a club is always set from top to bottom. From top to bottom. It cannot be the top being the board level, the bottom being the players. Between those two, top and bottom, you have the manager, the fans. I would put the fans above the players. Right? So the thing is, for example, at Top Spur, right? Top Spur, we saw that the middle, which was Conte, set a standard, but it couldn't go through that selective membrane because it has to come from the top to the middle to the players, right? So if it isn't generated from the source of the top, no matter how good that manager is, how much that manager wants to win trophies in Mourinho and Conte, how tactically equipped they are, it will not come to fruition if the board isn't ready to set the standard. Manchester United had Van Gaal and Mourinho, two great managers who I think could have won more at Manchester United. But at that time, the board was not equipped to give managers exactly what they probably needed, despite the big signings they made. They went out there, finally the board went out there and set the standard and gave Ten Hag what he needed. Made him the boss, and now you saw coherence. Top bleeds the middle, bleeds the players. Now they're in top 3 in Premier League. Best they've been in years. I know that's wrong because Ole came second and stuff. But you know what I mean? Best,
Mm.
you could feel a project brewing. Best project in years, I would say. Now with Chelsea, bro, we don't even have the luxury of having the middle setting a world-class standard to win trophies. Let's have it right. Oh my God. I didn't mean that one,
Let's
but
have
let's
it
have it
right,
right,
bro. The
bro.
minerals.
Yeah, let me land it, bro. Let me land it. Let
Land,
me
bro,
land
land.
it. The top has done a lot of good things. I'm coming in balanced there. I'm not gonna use my words like a knife. Why? Because why? I think sometimes you need to try to gain enough information before you make a judgment, right? They've
Yeah.
done a lot of good with the signings, not only from the team level, but also the board level. I mean, they're building something really good. Unfortunately, when it comes down to results and what they expect out of the team, NOW, no, they have not set the standard from the top. The middle have not set the standard at all because he's never done it in his life.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at the bottom, the fans and the players to set the standard. It's like a school, and the principal of the school doesn't care what the students do. The teachers just coming in and letting them
This is
draw
too
and play
funny.
cards. And then you just know that these are rich kids and they did well in exams their whole life because their parents give private tutors and stuff to them. And we hope that they do good in exams and make the school look good. If I speak anymore, I'm in big trouble, right? But this is what is happening at Chelsea now. So back to Tuchel, though. I mean, I give a real political answer here. This is the politics podcast, right? So,
But I think we understood what you said, bro. I think we
coming
completely understood.
around to it now, I would say you could feel how you want about Potter, his tactics, this and that, until the standard is set from the very top. Nothing will change in this football club. And thank God himself that we are blessed with a past 2 decades filled with trophies and success. And
Yeah.
our fans and most of our players right now know what it is to be Chelsea in the 21st century. So that's what I'll say.
Do you know what? Once again, man, so well said. So well said. Bayern Munich, their hierarchy, I think we've got to see. Damn ruthless. Damn ruthless.
Ruthless
Got rid of a
aggression, bro.
manager.
John Cena, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like got rid of a manager that's done nothing wrong. In fact, was flawless record in the Champions League. No losses, all wins so far
Bro
in the Champions
skateboarded
League
to
this year.
training, bro, and got fired.
He skateboarded to training. Apparently he's fallen out with a few people, and they weren't keen on his lack of progression. And
I don't think it was that, bro. I think they wanted Thomas Tuchel for summer from
it
the
had to be,
get-go.
because literally 4 days ago, their president came out and had all of these praising comments for Nagelsmann. But it's going back to the point that you said, it's got to start, the ruthlessness has to start from the top.
Yeah.
Then you have a ruthless manager like Thomas Tuchel who comes out in the press conference and straight away puts the marker down, Brian. Straight away puts the marker down. He says, this is a club that needs to be winning. There's 3 titles on the line. We need to be winning all of them. You can just feel the ambition on top, the middle section, as you said, understanding that ambition, understanding the heritage of the football club, and then delivering the message to the blocks underneath. Already, when the players come back from international break,
They
They
know we
know.
have to win the
They
Champions
know.
League and Bundesliga.
We German Cup, Bundesliga, Champions League. We have to win, or else some of our careers might not be here in Bayern Munich anymore. And the fans already know. We know the expectation for this season. We know exactly how to judge this club, this manager. They've set the standard. And I feel like all throughout this season, Ryan, we've I've been unclear of what the objective was or what was our expectation. Todd Bowley was saying at the start of the season, or even when Tuchel got fired and we brought in Graham Potter, the objective is still top four. But as the season went on, injuries, new players coming in, then I even heard after the January window, the objective is why not? The owners really think they can win the Champions League. Even I said, why can't we win the Champions League? We've got a solid team. But nowhere along the way, Ryan, did I ever understood the purpose of this season. It's like it's just flow with the wind. And we'll see what happens when the dust settles. And then we'll reassess next season. I feel like that is not how an elite club operates. An elite club doesn't write off a season.
See, Miz,
It's mad.
I think there's a lot of aspects where Chelsea fell short of making that leap to eliteness, like a Real Madrid
Mm,
and a Bayern Munich. But one thing Roman really did was that the standards he had and the values he set was that of eliteness. Obviously, it was mixed with some context. For example, if our team wasn't equipped for first place, he would be okay, but third place is minimum. Right? The least, no, yeah, the least.
yeah.
So at least it could go down to his third place. If not, fired, out.
See ya.
And the thing is, with with Chelsea, it's it's just such a tough one, But Miss, a fun thing I wanted to tell you though. I was listening to your podcast, not podcast, but on the other channel.
Mm.
I think there's this other really amazing channel, bro, about football. I think it's called MIZ TV, Total Football, or something like that. We had
Subscribe.
this guy.
Subscribe.
I think he brought
Irvin.
in some Bayern Munich guy.
Bayern Munich. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that while I was doing my chores today, and
Nice.
I think that with the 5-year contract, I think after the first season, Bayern wanted to sack Nagelsmann,
Nagelsmann.
but they
Ah.
were waiting to run down that contract a little bit more until the perfect manager showed up,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
I think when Tuchel got fired, they was willing to give Nagelsmann a chance
Mm.
because of Tuchel's availability. And I was thinking that maybe keeping Nagelsmann for one more season would have run down that payoff. Paying off for 4 years is different from paying off for 3 years remaining,
Mm.
right? And I think it was the Real Madrid rumors maybe got them primed.
Yeah.
I think it was always the plan to have Tuchel come in for the summer, regardless of how Nagelsmann did.
Mm. Mm.
But I think there's news coming out today that Tuchel had planned a trip to fly into London to talk to Tottenham.
Yeah. Matt Law.
And I think that is what primed them to pull the trigger now because Tuchel was the manager they wanted. Since
Mm.
in that Champions League final, the owners has been impressed with Tuchel,
Yeah.
with PSG versus Bayern. And I think that is why they pulled the trigger. So
Yeah.
but yeah, come back to Chelsea, bro. To put a full stop on that topic, it has to be top to bottom. And I could understand this. I could really understand
Mm.
giving a manager time now. Um, but it really comes down to when is enough. Because I do
Yeah.
I could understand with the amount of changes at Chelsea, this owners will be okay with having a transition season.
Hmm.
But when will enough be enough for these owners? That's a question because I have no doubt they want us to be winners. They wouldn't be okay with this next season, best believe. They would
And,
not be okay with it.
and this is what I want to sort of move on to the next topic, and we'll probably end it on this for our first episode. Next season, I know potentially a bit too early to talk about, but we as a fan base need to understand first within ourselves what we should expect for next season, where the standard should be. Because Ryan, this season I'm hella confused. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't think we're any. Had we been picking up, the silly points I've been dropping, one against Everton and Southampton, maybe we could have been in the mix still for the top four. But now I think it's too far fetched. We'll see what happens if we can conjure up some wins. But Champions League, we've got Real Madrid, the mighty Real Madrid. Not going to be easy. Ancelotti specialists in cup competitions. Ryan, as you said, what is the limit for these owners? I mean, it seems like the ambition is being showed in the transfer window. The ambition is showed with all of these people coming in, footballing people, Vivel, the Bayer Leverkusen guy is also getting thrown around. Monaco guy, Lawrence Stewart, Joe Shields, Paul Winston, many people involved. There are serious conversations around the stadium redevelopment. There's the multi-club model that's getting really, really talked about a lot. Top Ball is very keen on getting a club from France and Portugal. So there is, from a ownership board level, I can see it, I can feel it, I understand the ambition is
Yeah.
massive. Certain things mean certain decisions sometimes don't make sense, but it's there, I guess, learning as well. But Ryan, the management, your quote the other day in one of your threads, you said we're a club that has, we win stuff. Like we've, over the last 20 odd years under Roman, like, we've won a lot of things. We're a club that wins stuff. That's what we do. But now we've brought in a manager that doesn't have experience of winning anything, and it's almost like, we're helping him to learn on the job. More or less. I can't remember the exact line you said. It was so well said. Bringing in a manager that helping him learn how to win stuff. This, for me personally, next season, it can't continue. Like,
The
he's
thing
got to be
is,
in the mix to win.
a project manager is supposed to be the leader to stay a project. A project manager shouldn't be part of the project.
I think that's exactly what you said. Yeah.
It's like a project manager, you know the standard, how to win. We need to do A, B, and C. We know what we need to do to win. And even if it takes time, I know that I have the capabilities at this moment now to deal with these personalities at the highest level and these skills to develop them to the highest level to fit my philosophy, tactics, and to win titles in every competition. That's the standard a club like Chelsea has, right? With Potter, he does not have any of that, quite honestly. He knows how to play good football for maybe 60 minutes. I've said this on my thread. I am a fan of Potter for the 4 out of 7 good segments he does in a match. I could see the vision what he's trying to do. Direct vertical football, you know, crowding numbers into the box, close distances in midfield to promote one-touch football, man marking, pressing instead of pressing, man marking to win back the ball in deeper areas to counter attack. It makes for good football, but for only segments of the game. When you're managing Brighton, and viewers see good football against Liverpool for 4 to 7 segments of a game, or to any club for 7 segments of a game, they say, wow, this manager is really good for Brighton. He plays really good football for Brighton. But when it comes down to Chelsea and he comes here, Graham Potter has done the same thing. He's played 4 out of 7 good segments of football. But for Chelsea, it's no longer, wow, that is good football for 4 to 7 segments. At Chelsea, it is, where's the other 3 segments to get us 3 points? They do not have it, and that's why we're 10th right now.
Yeah.
That is, so before it was, wow, good 4 to 7 segments. You have potential to be a good manager. Good football, I love it. But now at Chelsea, when you miss those, so in one club with their standards at Brighton, you magnify the 4 out of 7 segments where you did right. At a club like Chelsea, you need 7 out of 7 segments of your football and your manager.
4 out of 7 is just given. That's a given. Like that, you start off with 4 out of 7. That's nothing to be praised about.
And the thing is, we're seeing that the other 3 segments is they know how to get 3 points. They know how to win week in, week out. They know how to get their players to buy in for 90 minutes, not 55 minutes.
Yeah.
We're seeing the mid-tableness in Potter now. This man is a man who's learning how to win. He's not teaching our players how to win. Our players is teaching him how to win. He's learning how to win.
Yeah.
He's not putting
Because he's
Chelsea
not
higher.
won at
He's
Brighton.
raising up the Chelsea.
Exactly.
You know? He is not giving a ladder to our players and letting them climb up. He is trying to climb up the ladder himself before he could pull up anybody. And that is the problem at Chelsea. We need a manager who could give you 7 out of 7 segments. The 3 segments that he missed the most is how to lock down 3 points. That's why you're bringing 4 central midfielders to play a 3-6-1 against a relegation team for 35 minutes and still drop 2 points and stay in 10th position.
Disgusting attitude.
At Brighton, if he did that, people would be like, wow, you saw those long balls he was playing for 55 minutes and the directness, like, imagine this. This is a good English up-and-coming manager. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But the Chelsea, the mighty Chelsea.
Come on.
That's not life, bro. That's lack of life at Chelsea, bro.
That's just criminal. That's criminal.
It's not good enough for us.
Yeah.
This is not OJT program, right? Where you are OJT coming in and you're working, you're learning tactics, you're drawing diagrams and stuff. No. You have to be the leader. You don't hire a manager in like a company without 8 to 10 years of experience at that level. Then you get promoted to manager. But somehow on earth, $1 billion worth company in Chelsea FC hired someone as their manager with 0 years experience at this level. How on earth is that possible?
I don't know Chelsea, what they were smoking.
I can't even apply for any smaller company where I'm from, right? To become manager with 2 years experience work. They need 10 years experience at that small company. That's an independent company.
Ryan, how did he meet any of the selection criteria?
Bro, that man needs to be, his manifesting and law of attraction needs to be studied by the masses. And what his prayer routine, his religion, his morning, his face wash program, everything this guy does needs to be studied to get that amount of good luck, because I need some of that in my life too. I need a good job, a better one. I need to go to this university. I need to do this because, quite frankly, Potter, bro, teach me, bro.
He's hit the jackpot.
But Miz, I see. I'm not gonna be those people who bash him and say he has 0 out of 7 segments, right? I would give him that when he came here, he showed us only 2 to 3 segments, and now it has climbed to 5. But I'm not going to give you a baby bottle with nice hot milk and feed you until you get to 7 segments. You know? You better learn how to use an iPhone fork, bro.
You
Sorry, bro,
better
you're
learn
fasting. Let me get a better and a different analogy, bro. The food
You
analogy
better learn how
probably
to
killing
use an
you.
iPhone 4. Oh my days. Nah, man, you're right. Next season looks like he's probably going to be around. We'll see what happens if owners reassess. The next batch of fixtures are so important leading up to the Real Madrid game. We could potentially set up a mouth-watering scenario if Bayern beats City and we beat Real.
And we beat Bayern, bro. And then
The owners
Potter
might
in the
owners
Chelsea
might
badge in
just be
front of football.
vindicated. Owners might just be vindicated, and that's exactly what will be needed to turn this around.
I would love it.
And I think I deserve it.
Yeah, I think I deserve. I think I
I think I
deserve.
deserve. I think I deserve. Ryan, we'll end it here. I think it's been a fantastic first episode. I know we're going to talk about many things down the track. This
Yep.
podcast can be in 2 locations, as we said. It could be here in the other side of the coin, talking about everything Chelsea, or it could also be on MIZ TV Total Football, where we talk about everything else outside of Chelsea football. So
Yeah.
strap yourself in, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be,
Strap yourself on if you're into
yeah,
that, too, bro.
it's going to
Anything.
be interesting. It's going to be lovely. And yeah, it's going to be entertaining. Ryan, once again, thank you so much for your time. For all the people, let us know how this first episode was of That's Live podcast, MIZ and Ryan, That's Live podcast. Comment in the comment section and let us know how you felt. What
Let
topics
us
do
know.
you want us to talk about as well? Give us some ideas.
Yeah.
We can pretty much talk about anything and everything. So let us know if there's any particular topic that you really want us to delve deep into. And yeah, smash up the like button, subscribe if you're here for the first time, and also follow Ryan on social media. On Twitter, he's got the handle right there at Carefree Tactics. And we shall see you guys very, very soon. Until next time, everyone, take care. See ya.